Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, the storm update. Right now on the Weather Channel, your local forecast.
Well, snow around the Great Lakes and then a lot of rain as you head south tonight as a huge storm system continues to sweep across the country. I used to do that when I was 16 at a store. I used to sweep
across. That was a lot of sweeping
across the country, but I swept. I couldn't resist that when I saw the word sweep. Okay, hello, I'm Bob Stokes.
And I'm Warren Madden. We also have a new storm starting to move into the west, but we'll begin with the latest in the very messy weather across much of the Midwest and into the east. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, part of the Midwest. You were on the list of snowy places today. The snowfall tapered off this afternoon, but you had some heavy snow this morning. Several inches piled up across the region, and that made for some treacherous driving conditions. Well, as you can see here, the snow plows were out trying to keep those roads in operating condition. The same weather system is spreading rain across the south. New Orleans was a wet target today as heavy rain and even some thunderstorms moved through the lower Mississippi. It was certainly not an easy day to be out and about here on the campus at Tulane University. The wet weather, however, moving away from the Crescent City, so look for some sunshine as you head into your day on Thursday. Here's the current map. Big line of showers and rain, even a few thunderstorms, and coming up farther north, you run into the snow here, stretching from the eastern Great Lakes down into the Gulf Coast. And then we also have another little system working its way into the Dakotas. We'll come back to that momentarily, but I want to start off in the southeast. Point out that New Orleans, you are in the clear. The storm now to your east, however, still on the wet side here across northern Florida, reaching down in toward close to just north of the Tampa Bay area, and maybe even a few thunderstorms right here just off the coast heading in north of Tampa Bay. Now farther to the north, we are looking at some of the rain. Atlanta drying out now, much of the rain heading to the coast. Even Savannah looks like you'll be drying out soon, but farther to the north, Roanoke heading over to Richmond, up toward Washington, D.C., still some showers around. And that rain does extend farther northward here into the upper Ohio River Valley, across New York, and then snow coming on the backside of it, reaching in toward the UP of Michigan. Let's get a little better view here. You can see some of the heavier rain maybe getting out of D.C., but heading up toward Baltimore and Philadelphia, New York City. Hey, you'll probably wake up to the sound of raindrops splattering off the pavement. Cleveland, still a little light rain hanging around, especially east of town, but you have to head pretty far east now to get in toward Erie, Pennsylvania, even heading up in toward Buffalo before you start running into the serious rain again. Farther to the west, we are looking at the snow, though, around Alpena, heading up toward Marquette, And speaking of snow, that's also what we have right here in the Dakotas, is that little storm working its way southward, bringing some snow into North Dakota and northeastern South Dakota. And it's also bringing the cold air. Temperatures dropping into the 20s now, and you throw in the wind chill. 3 degrees at International Falls and at Bismarck, and that's just a hint of the cold air to come. Let's check out the West Coast. Here's Bob.
Okay, no hint of the rain. It actually came down tonight, Warren, in San Francisco, and it's still falling, but you did have pleasant weather today across much of the rest of the western half of the nation. But in San Francisco, you started feeling the effects of a new storm system this afternoon. Light rain began falling, and this is just the beginning, as you can expect more rain overnight and into tomorrow on the light side, but heavier activity after midnight Thursday. And in Southern California, expect heavy surf as the storm moves closer to the coast. Here it is, the wet weather. It's been light rain. It's been a nuisance rain for much of the evening and afternoon, affecting the Golden Gate Bridge as motorists travel over with the light rain falling, getting into Stockton, California and the Sacramento Valley. This has generally been running into a strong upper-level ridge, signified by the reflection at the surface. And as this gives way, though, we're going to start seeing more energy coming in. Here's how it looks on the jet stream, the upper air flow. As this buckle in the jet stream is in place, when that energy tries to move in tonight, it goes from south to north because this will not allow it to push eastward. But look what happens Friday. It flattens somewhat. So this big system, which is off of the west coast, well, let's just take a look at it. It's right here. As it approaches and moves ashore, it will not run into that blocking high, or what we call an omega high, because it's in the shape of the Greek letter omega. As it moves in, it's going to charge in with heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and again, heavy surf for Southern California. This system will particularly affect Central and Southern California with wet weather as well. Looks pretty big, doesn't it, with that cyclonic circulation. There's the wet weather now. This is just a piece of energy, an offshoot of that bigger system you just saw, and the San Francisco Bay Area getting wet as a result. You can see right here on up into the Napa Valley. Chico Redding's been getting wet for much of the evening, so take care there. And also getting up into the western half of Oregon, some lighter precipitation and more scattered. Temperature-wise, it's chilly in Reno at 33 degrees, but 56 in San Francisco, still relatively mild, 55 in L.A., and we have a 32-degree reading in Albuquerque. Here's Warren Madden.
Time now for El Nino Focus. It's the ocean and atmosphere working together that makes El Nino a force for climatic change. Jim Cantori explains.
In normal non-El Nino years, the surface of the Pacific Ocean along the coast of South America is cool, about 8 degrees cooler than the surface in the western Pacific. That's because of the trade winds. The prevailing trade winds in